Hello everybody and welcome. This is a Verbling class and my name is Amy. Today's class is all about reading, which is one of the key skills about language, but it's also something that we do hopefully in our native languages. We've got an interesting article from the New York Times not too long today, and the focus really is just to discuss reading. The article is called How Reading Transforms Us. We're going to read about an interesting experiment and then we're going to talk about it. So do come along in if you would like to practice your speaking and talk about this topic together, which is, I think, probably relevant to everybody who's learning a language, but also to those people who love to read in their spare time. So do come along into class. I think we have got a couple of spare slots. If you're quick, you can get in and join us with this discussion today. So while we're waiting for our students, I'm just going to talk to you about a couple of things that can help you here on Verbling. There are two useful pages that you might like to have a look at in your spare time, and I'm going to paste those into the chat box. The first one is my Verbling Teachers Facebook page, and if you're a Facebook addict or you generally go on Facebook a couple of times a week or a couple of times a day or a couple of times an hour, then you might want to follow a few of the teachers on Verbling on Facebook, the Verbling teachers on Facebook, and then you can basically just see what's going on and keep your mind on track with the whole English study, even when you're, supposedly wasting time on Facebook. It's a great place to keep in touch with us and see what's going on. You can obviously do all the stuff that you can usually do with Facebook. You can write to us, comment, get in touch with the other students, so it's really handy. The other page that you might be interested in taking a look at is my Verbling teacher page, and this is where you can find some sort of particular information about any of the teachers that you might come across on Verbling. If you attend one of the teachers' classes and you really enjoy it, or if you see a teacher on the website and you're wondering a bit more, you'd like to know a bit more about them, then you can go ahead and check out their Verbling teacher page. What you'll find there are some introductory videos and some videos of shots from their classes, so you can get an idea of what they're like as a teacher and their personality. You can also have a look at their calendar, so you can book a private tutoring slot with them if you think that's something you would like to do, or you can attend any of their upcoming classes. So you can see when they're free for tutoring slots and for classes. And you can also write a message. So if you have any questions about anything or you want to get in touch with that particular teacher for any reason, then the best place to go is the Verbling teacher page of that teacher. And then you can write a message using the handy messaging feature over there. So I think that's pretty much everything for the Verbling teacher page. You can also obviously watch these classes on Google Plus or on YouTube, and you can see the past recorded classes of all of the Verbling teachers on their YouTube site. So it's a good place to go if you want to have some extra practice while there are no classes on, and you can really make the most of that. A lot of students do. So let me remind you that this class is all about reading, which is one of my favorite activities, I have to be honest with you. We're going to be reading an article called How Reading Transforms Us, about an experiment that was done from the New York Times. And then we're going to be just talking generally about the topic of reading and what we think of it. Is it important? And a bit about your personal reading habits. So if you're waiting to talk to me or you're not sure about whether or not you should come into the class, have a think about that. That's our topic. Not too difficult, but a fun one, I think. Let's say hello to Paco. Hello, Paco.
Hello, teacher. Hello.
No, have I met you before, Paco?
I'm from Spain.
You're from Spain. Well, it's lovely to meet you. Which part of Spain are you from?
I'm from Malaga.
Malaga. Have I met you before, Paco? I remember talking to a Malagueño before.
I think so. I think so.
Yes. All right. So how is the weather down there? Is it cold?
It's been cold the last few days, but now today it's doing a very good day.
Okay, it's a very good day. It's just a very good day.
Yes. We have reached heights of 19 degrees.
19! Wow, that's
Yes,
really warm.
yes,
Awesome.
yes. Almost spring.
Yes, wonderful. So spring maybe is coming early this year. What time of year does it usually get warm, Paco?
Normally at when in the spring.
In Malaga particularly, because I know that Spain's quite a big
Yes,
place.
yes, it's very different from the north of Spain to the south.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Malaga normally when the spring arrives before, not normally in February. In February, you can have very good days.
Okay. Oh, it sounds so wonderful. Well, it's nice to see you again, Paco. Tell me how your English is
You?
going. Have you been studying a lot? Have you been accomplishing any of your goals?
Sorry?
How's your English going?
Mm, uh, uh, it's very difficult to improve.
Why? Why is it very difficult, Paco? You sound like you are speaking great English already, I must
You
say.
know, when you get a special level, when you get more or less intermediate, it's very difficult to you have to study harder, very hard to improve.
That is absolutely true, I must say, Paco. Well, it's sort of like when you get to a certain level, I think you mean, then it's difficult to reach the next level. You have to put in a lot
Yes,
more effort, right?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That is.
I understand. Well, good luck. Keep on going, and yeah,
Thank
I
you.
hope you keep
We do
improving.
it.
Good. All right. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
Um, who else do we have? We have Carlos here. Hello, Carlos.
Hello,
Hello. Where are you from?
Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Wow, that's awesome. What's it like in Buenos Aires at the moment? Is it warm or cold?
Yeah, warm.
Warm, it's summer, right?
28, 29.
Ah, that's wonderful. So, what are you doing with yourself, Carlos? Are you working? Are you studying?
I am working, yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
studying,
what
studying now.
studying English though, right?
Studying English, yeah.
And what's your job?
I am a teacher of bridge.
A bridge
Bridge?
teacher.
Yes.
Did I meet you the other day?
Yes. I don't know, I think
Okay.
1 week, one
Yeah,
week ago.
Yeah, that's right. And did
yeah.
you change your picture or something? Because I somehow didn't
Yes,
recognize. Oh, okay.
yes.
That's why. Okay. I'm sorry, Carlos. Of course I remember you. Sometimes it's a little bit hard just going on a voice and then if
Yeah,
your picture changes.
no,
But I
I
remember the
understand
bridge
you have,
teacher.
I
Yeah.
understand you have a lot of students. Yeah.
So I remember you because we were talking about your bridge before. So is that actually your job? Didn't realize it was your job.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Wow, that is awesome. You have made your hobby into your job.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
How did
You
you
live
do
you
it,
you live in New
Carlos?
Zealand. You live in New Zealand, no?
Yeah.
I've been there many times.
Have you? Where have you
Many
been?
times.
Which
Uh, all,
places?
all, all over around the country.
What?
Auckland,
Mhm.
Auckland, because I stayed there for 1 month with a friend. Then we went to the Southern Island and traveled around. It was really
Oh,
nice.
wow. That's great. So you came just for a holiday
Yes, and to play bridge.
and to play bridge. And New Zealanders bridge fans? Are
Oh,
there lots of
yeah.
people?
No, in New Zealand, bridge is huge. You have a lot of bridge players.
Is that
So,
right? I
yeah,
never knew, Carlos. Well, you are our bridge expert. It's lovely to see you again. Welcome.
thank you.
Okay, and now we have Q&A. Hello. Or not. Maybe not. Are you there? I'm not quite sure what your name is. It looks as if it's Q&A, but that's sort of like an abbreviation. Maybe microphone not working. If you can hear me, maybe just try to test your settings and check that you've given Google permission to use your microphone so that you can talk to us. Otherwise, I will come back to you in a moment. Nope. All right. We will come back to you, Q&A. I'm looking forward to finding out who you are. So, guys, let's just talk about this topic for a moment. Reading. Who here is a reading fan? Let's see what Paco says. Do you like to read, Paco?
Sorry, I got problems with the mic. Yes, I love reading.
You love reading. Okay, so tell me about your reading habits. How often do you read, and what kinds of things do you like to read?
I usually read at night before going to bed, or in bed.
Yep.
I love getting asleep, falling asleep, reading.
Okay, so it sends you to sleep. It relaxes you a bit, probably?
Yes, yes, yes.
And what kinds of things do you read, Paco? What kind of material?
Well, lately I'm reading English books.
Mm-hmm.
English books I get free from Amazon.
Okay.
All the books in novels, but in English.
Okay.
They have
Hello.
in different levels of English. So
all right. So
it's very convenient for me to get some of them.
that sounds awesome, Paco. Are they ebooks?
Yes, yes, ebooks, because I usually read it in my Kindle.
Okay, cool. So are you talking about sort of like what kinds of novels? The classics, I imagine, they're usually offered for free.
Whatever.
Anything you can find.
Because lately I read it mainly to improve my English.
Okay, awesome.
You know?
Can you hear me?
Me, Paco?
No, yes, I thought you were saying hello and testing your microphone, but no, it sounds like you're okay. So thank you, Paco. Q&A, is that you?
Yeah, how are you?
Wonderful, it's good to hear your voice. Is that your real name, Q&A?
No, that's my email only. That's my username.
Okay, so what is your name?
Ahmed.
Okay, Ahmed. Have I met you before, Ahmed?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back.
In one class, maybe before 1 week.
I remember you. Welcome. It's nice to see you again. And it's good to hear you now that you've got your microphone sussed.
Thank you. Interesting.
So, Ahmed, what we're talking about today is reading. Do you like reading?
Sure.
What kind of things do you like to read, and what are your reading habits?
Usually I try to read something related to my working, and that maybe will be economic section and statistics about the number of the growth or inflation, I don't know, maybe inflation and GDP and like that, something related to economic.
Okay, related to economics. It's always in the plural. Okay, so you kind of like reading non-fiction, it sounds like.
Sorry?
Do you know the word non-fiction?
No.
No.
Sorry
okay.
about that.
No problem. That's why we're here, Ahmed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can any of the other students, and I'll say hello to you in a sec, Ken. Can anyone explain what the word non-fiction and then also obviously fiction? What do those two words mean?
Non-fiction is writing about something that is real and something happened in the past. Like, for example, the Truman Capote when he wrote about that murder.
Yes. All right.
But
Thank you. And therefore, fiction is what, Carlos?
Fiction, yeah, they are novels stories that you create with your mind and then you write them.
I like that description.
Okay.
Stories that you create with your mind. Okay, that's absolutely right. So thank you, Carlos. Basically, fiction is usually novels or poetry, and non-fiction is writing about real, actual facts or events. So economics would count as non-fiction, Ahmed, because it's not made up from somebody's imagination, right? Hopefully. So how often do you read, Ahmed?
Sometime I am interested about novels or like that, but not more than one time a month or like that. But usually I try to and sometimes I read something related to history. Because I think that the one subject which is very interesting for all of us to learn about those who live before we live. I think that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Ahmed. So Ahmed's a big fan of non-fiction by the sounds of things, and we have Paco, who likes to read novels, especially ones in English. Well done. Let's find out about Carlos. Carlos, tell us about your reading habits. What do you like? Do you enjoy reading, firstly?
No. For me it's really boring. I don't read. No.
You don't read at all?
I used to, but not anymore. Now I watch.
So you prefer
series and movies.
Okay, so tell us about your TV watching and your movies. What kinds of things do you like to watch?
Well, many real American TV series, mostly. A lot of them I like, and movies, drama, comedies.
Okay. Do you like to go to the cinema, or do you mostly watch stuff at home?
I mostly watch on the internet, but I like to go to the cinema. Yeah.
Okay. Is it expensive to go to the cinema in Argentina?
No, not so expensive. No,
Okay.
around, I don't know. Now it should be $10.
All right. So you think it's worth it?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes,
we have
because of the sound. The sound is really good, and the bigger screen.
Yeah, definitely. I think that maybe some movies are worth seeing in the cinema. Are better. They're sort of made for the cinema, right?
The 3D ones.
Yes, they are fun.
And those, yes.
Yeah, and some, if there's a lot of plot and not much sort of visual stuff, then it doesn't really matter, I guess. You can just watch it at home and still enjoy it just as much.
Yeah, I watch Gravity, I think is the name, when it's in the space, and I used the 3D glasses.
Oh,
it was
wow.
really nice because you can see even the tiny metallic things floating there in the space.
Wow, that does sound very cool, actually. Yeah. I saw that movie, but I watched it on an aeroplane, so it was like a tiny screen, and I was going, so no, a different experience, Carlos. I think you had the better experience. All right, welcome. So it's great to find out that Carlos doesn't like reading. Well, that's okay, Carlos. We're going to still talk to you, so don't worry about that, okay? Ken, welcome. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Good to see you again. We're talking about reading today, so tell us about reading, Ken. Are you like Carlos, or are you more like Paco and Ahmed?
Yeah, I'm less reading. Yeah, now.
You don't like reading?
I like reading, but nowadays, a lot of other media developed. I was busy for other media. I cannot
Yeah.
consider on the reading book.
Okay. So tell us which kind of other media. So it sounds like you're a bit more like Carlos here, but what do you do? Do you like to watch videos? Do you use YouTube, cinema, games?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, attending online class like this, and mainly internet develops. And in the past, I watched TV a lot, and now, but I rarely watching TV. So internet activities makes me busy. Yeah, YouTube
Okay.
video or some other video or kind of Japanese website broadcast. In that website, already people broadcasting. So, and we can, how can I say, write on the screen or beside the screen. So it's almost like a chat. So broadcaster reply our comment on live. So
Mm-hmm.
such kind of things is much more fun than reading English now because maybe maybe I like communicating with people and
Okay.
more or less even though some people criticize internet is virtual, but maybe it's better than feeling uh, uh, staying alone, reading book on the bed or something. Much more stimulating to me. Yeah.
Thank you, Ken. All right, so it sounds like you agree with Carlos here. I remember that you talked about this Japanese TV before, but maybe the other students haven't heard so much about it. It sounds as if it's sort of almost like interactive TV. Can you
Right.
describe what happens a little bit
Yes.
more?
Like this Hangout, I can see your face and video, and we can chat. We can write a comment on the Barbering chat or Google chat, and that comment, not only that comment on the chat section, but also the comment, how can you say, appear from the right side of the screen to left side screen. Comment flows. So if the
The
many
comment
people,
moves across the screen?
yes. So
Okay, so like a subtitle almost.
right. So if the many people watching the show, a lot of comment. Sometimes popular broadcaster gathers maybe 5,000 viewers. So if that happens, a lot of comment so flow on the screen.
Hmm.
Or but I prefer a kind of small scale show, maybe less than 100-person show, or some shows just almost like a usual chat room, 10 people gathers, or yeah, that kind of show. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds fascinating. I'm wondering if any of you guys know if that happens in our languages, because I know that we've talked about Japanese, but it would be interesting to find out. So, Ken, what types of topics are these shows about?
It's up to the show. Actually, some show are not so interesting. Some show are a bit offensive, or some show are not good actually. But I found some of my favorite broadcasters. They don't do such kind of things. They just show the keep fun chatting. So I like such
Okay.
kind of show. Or and official show there is actually influence to the Japanese politics too. Since this side is popular, so politicians are now using, to manipulate people on the show.
All
Kind
right,
of.
it sounds fascinating, Ken. I really wish I understood Japanese so
Yeah.
that I could watch it.
You
Maybe I
know,
will have to learn Japanese.
now, like YouTube, at the beginning, also kind of big corporation will also they criticize YouTube because it might influence the copyright or something. But after the YouTube became big, many stars and celebs and politicians began to YouTube to promote them. Maybe same kind of thing happening
Yeah,
in that side. Yeah.
absolutely. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. All right, now we're going to start reading our article. It's actually not that long, guys, so it won't take us too long, hopefully. But if you would like to click on the link that you can see in the chat box, then you can load it up. And I'm going to share my screen. I will also say a quick hello to Yuri. Hello, Yuri. Yuri, I can't hear you. I can see that you're talking, but I can't hear you. All right, so whenever you're ready, just yell out, okay, and I will answer you.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Sorry, my name is Tatiana. I'm not Yuri. It's because I had registered my husband's cat, Ben cat, and that's why I wrote Yuri.
I was going to say, I thought Yuri was a boy's name, but you never know. But anyway, it's nice to meet you, Tatiana. Thank you for explaining that. Welcome to the class.
Oh, thank you very much.
Whereabouts are you from, Tatiana?
Oh, I'm from Ukraine.
Okay, welcome. We have just been talking about reading, and we're about to read, our article. So you haven't missed much yet. We're just going to start reading what you can see on the screen, and I'm going to get Ken to start off for us. So if you could read us just the title and the first couple of paragraphs, please. Ken.
Okay. How writing transforms you as. Most writing seeks to influence you to think or feel how the author wants you to think or feel. The article you are reading now is not exception. We want you to think about certain things in a certain way. Is it enough or not?
Keep going, please, Tatiana. One more paragraph.
But there is another kind of influence not typically associated with writing that works in a different fashion. Here you don't try to make people think or feel in any particular way. Instead, you try to get them to be themselves.
Thank you, Tatiana. That was lovely reading, and it's just given us the introduction. So we're just going to pause for a second just to check that everybody understands all the vocabulary and the first couple of paragraphs. So is everybody following? Any questions? No? All right, if you do have a question, let me know. You do? Okay, what's your question?
I think that I understand everything.
Okay, wonderful. So what I'm going to ask you, I think I'm going to ask this to Carlos. Okay, Carlos, you don't do much reading, but what do you think of this first paragraph, and can you relate this to watching things? Do you think it also applies to watching things?
Yes, it applies. Yes, the director or could influence you in different ways when you're watching a movie.
Okay.
It depends on the movie, but maybe it can influence you, for example, in his political ways of political ideology of something, for example.
Okay. How important do you think this influence is in, say, the success or the enjoyment that you get out of a movie? Do you think it's extremely important, or is it sort of a side factor?
No, for me, it's a side factor.
Okay, what's the main point for you for watching something, Carlos?
To enjoy myself.
Excellent answer. All right, so how do you enjoy yourself? What makes you enjoy a movie?
Well, it depends on the day. Sometimes I like to watch drama. Maybe you cry a little sometimes. Another day I like to watch comedies to laugh.
All right, so it may be to experience emotion. That sounds like what you're telling me. Would you say that was probably true?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
yes,
interesting. Exactly. Thank you, Carlos. That's very interesting. I'm just going to welcome, who is it? Simone, hello.
Hi, Amy. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Welcome. We're just talking about reading, and we've only just started, so you can catch up. We've just read the first couple of paragraphs, okay?
Cool. Okay.
All right, so we're going to go to Ken. Ken, could you read the next two paragraphs for us, please?
Okay. As parents, for example, we urge our children to discover what we're engaged in a career, perhaps, or in a relationship. And although we may wish that a spouse would be a bit more like this or that, we also know that This kind of love enables someone to become his or her own true self. Could a writer have an indirect influence of this kind, getting readers to think about themselves anew? We believe so, indeed. In several studies over the past few years, we have found evidence that such influence is a characteristic of literary art.
Thank you, Ken. That was lovely reading. Just this word here is indirect. Indirect.
Indirect.
Yeah, so it's kind of balanced emphasis between the in and the rect, okay?
Indirect.
Yes, that's great. Thank you. All right, so any questions about these two paragraphs? I think they're quite straightforward. Does anyone need any vocab explanation?
I'm sorry, what means the word urge? As parents, for example, we urge our children.
Good question, Tatiana. Does anybody know what urge means?
It's like we want very much.
Okay, great.
It try to convince them.
Very good.
Try to convince children, yeah.
Yeah, so to try to convince, to want something very much. Okay, Tatiana?
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, so I'm going to ask Paco, because Paco has told us at the beginning of class that he reads quite a lot of novels. So, Paco, what do you think about this idea that the novel, or maybe literary art as it's called here, can influence the way you think about yourself? Have you ever had that experience after reading a book?
Not really, not really. I think there are another kind of reading that can influence on yourself, like auto, I don't know how to say in English, but the books.
Self-help, perhaps.
Sorry?
Self-help?
Yes. Self-help books.
Okay. Yep.
But novels is totally different. The novel is like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like a non-fiction or fiction movie, no? You can in some moments you can see yourself like the star of the movie, you know, or the star of the novel. And you can in some way be moved to think as they think, but this is very temporary. I think I think this connect with something you already have.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Yeah.
Not really influence you, but you can discover perhaps some stuff of your personality.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you're saying that maybe it doesn't influence you so much as maybe give you the opportunity to experience different parts of yourself. Would that be accurate? Okay.
Yes.
Very interesting. Thank you, Paco. Two different points of view from Paco and Carlos. All right, let's find out what happens next. So, Carlos, could you please read in one experiment?
In one experiment published in 2009 in the Creativity Research Journal, we and the psychologists Sarah Sutterman and Jordan B. Peterson randomly assigned participants to one of two groups. One whose members read The Lady with the Dog and Anton Chekhov's story centered on marital infidelity, and another whose members read a non-fictionalized version of the story written in the form of a report from a divorce court.
Thank you. One more paragraph.
The non-fiction text was the same length and offered the same ease of reading as Chekhov's story. It contained the same information, including some of the same dialogue. Notably, though, readers of this text deemed it less artistic than readers of The Lady with the Dog deemed their text. They found it just as interesting.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Carlos. That was perfect reading. Okay, questions about the vocab?
Randomly.
Randomly. Good question. What does randomly mean?
How can I say, at random, I mean, kind of no
Divided?
intention to choose. No intention to choose. I choose some person without intention.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That's a nice way of putting it, Ken. Quite difficult to describe this one. Hey, so choosing something without intention, by accident, not having a particular purpose about doing something. So if you roll a dice, the number that you get will be random. It's not chosen by any way. It just happens to be where the dice falls.
It's
Do you understand that, man? Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no worries. Okay. Any other questions?
Deemed?
Deemed. Good question. What does deemed mean? Anybody know? No? Deemed just means the same as thought. They thought or they found the article, the text, sorry, less artistic. Thought the text was less artistic. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Assigned means divided.
Assigned. Okay, what does assigned mean? Not exactly divided.
You ordered, but not with force.
Okay, nice. Order, but not with force. Yes.
Maybe
so to
offer.
Pardon?
Offer.
Offer? Yeah, they're a little bit too vague, I think, guys. Assign really means that you give someone a particular task, a particular role, that you give somebody a particular duty, task, role, group. It means you put them in a particular group as opposed to another group or with another task, okay? So if you're a leader or a manager or the boss, you'll probably do this all the time. You'll say, okay, Carlos is going to have paragraph 1 and Paco is going to be paragraph 2. That's assigning paragraphs to different people, okay? All right, any other questions? No?
Oh, what does it mean notably?
Notably?
Notably, yeah.
This one here, it means something that we should note, Tatiana, something that we should remember, something that should be pointed out, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so just to check that we're all on the right page, we're all on the same page, what's happened is that they're doing an experiment with 2 groups of people. One group reads this story, The Lady with the Dog, which is a very famous play by short story, by Anton Chekhov, and another group reads the exact same story, but it's not written in a literary way. It's just written as a report. So we're going to find out what happens after we've done this experiment. So Ahmed, could you read, please, from before?
Okay. Before they started reading, each participant took a standard test of the so-called Big 5 personalities traits: extroversion, neuroticism, openness, agreeableness, and conscientiousness. The participant also rated how they were feeling on a scale of 0 to 10 for 10 different emotions. Then after reading the text they were assigned, the participants were again given the personality test and asked to rate their emotions. The personality scores of those who read the non-fiction text remained much the same, but the personality scores of those who read the Chekhov story fluctuated. The changes were not large, but they were statistically significant, and they were correlated with the intensity of emotions people experienced as they read the story. Chekhov's story seemed to get people to start thinking about their personalities, about themselves in new ways.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. You did really well. Let's just go through these words up here because these were the trickiest. So this one here is extraversion.
Extraversions.
Good. This one is neuroticism. Neuroticism.
Neuroticism.
Perfect. Well done. This is openness.
Openness.
This is agreeableness.
Agreeableness.
And this last one is conscientiousness.
Sorry?
Conscientiousness.
Conscientiousness.
Yep, so we've got con and then cien. Yep.
Conscient, yeah,
Conscientiousness.
Conscientiousness.
Very good. Conscientiousness.
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 Well done, Ahmed.
Sorry.
No. We're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you because I know that these are really tricky words. If we had to do that is Arabic your native language, Ahmed?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had to do that in Arabic.
Very complicated word.
Yes, it is. So, well done. You did great. Okay, let's talk about it.
But we have in Arabic like that.
Yeah. Please don't give me a test. We'll do it after class. All right.
You.
So, let's talk about the words, guys, because there's a lot of words in this little section. So, I would like somebody to tell me, what does extraversion mean, or to be extroverted?
Outgoing, not timid.
Thank you. Perfect, Carlos. What about neuroticism? What does neuroticism mean? If you're neurotic.
Nervous?
Nervous? No, not exactly nervous. Any other ideas?
I think that it's a disease of nervous system. Neuroticism.
It's actually to do with being worried or stressed. It's like if you're neurotic, you're always worried about something or fearful about something, okay? Like you stress out a lot. And what is openness? I think that one's quite obvious.
Is it different from extroversion?
Yes, a little bit.
Open for people? Open for the opinion or something like
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like I suppose how honest and willing you are to share things with other people. What about agreeableness?
Sympathetic?
Yeah, so this is a bit of a tricky word because in some languages it's a little bit like that, but it's sort of this is maybe willing to be part of things, willing to listen to other people, willing to agree, that kind of thing.
Kindness? Some kind of
Yeah.
kind?
Exactly. It's sort of similar to kindness. Yeah, absolutely. And this last really, really tricky one, conscientiousness. What does it mean?
It's when some person tell only trust. Trust. When the person not fair, not lie.
Honest. No, it's not the same as honest. No, not the same as honest here, Tatiana. Conscientious, if you are a conscientious person, it means that you are very concerned with doing things right, with doing something correctly, with doing what you are supposed to do, okay? So if you're a conscientious student, maybe you always do your homework and you always learn the words that were new from your lesson. You want to do everything correctly, all right? Okay, so who can tell me, roughly, what happened in the experiment? What's the overall outcome of this first experiment? Can anyone explain it in just a sort of summary?
Maybe they read two different versions of the same novel.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And probably the kind of how can I say, kind of less artistic versions reader shows a low tendency of these kind of emotions.
Okay, very good, Ken. So you've got it, really. I think the important thing is that they had to take this personality test before they read and after they read, and then they compared them. And the group that read the Chekhov literary story had different scores to before than the other group. So their scores changed, basically, which sort of suggests that they were influenced by the story that they read. Okay, does everyone understand?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, let's carry on reading, and I believe it must be Paco's turn. From In Another Experiment, Paco.
Yes, in another experiment published in 2012 in the journal Scientific Study of Literature, we broadened the scope beyond a single Chekhov story. We and a psychology graduate student, Matthew Carlan, asked participants to read one of 8 short stories or one of 8 essays. The stories include Frank O'Connor's My Oedipus Complex and Jean Stackford's Nightclub. The essays include Henry Bergson's Why Do We Laugh? And Rabindranath Tagore's East and West. We altered the essays a bit so that their average length, easy of reading and interest to readers were the same as those of the stories. As in our earlier experiment, we measure our participants' personality traits and emotion before and after reading. We had expected that people who read a piece of fiction would experience the greatest fluctuation in their personality scores, but we didn't find this. The genre of the text, fiction or non-fiction, didn't matter much. What mattered was the degree of perceived artistry. Those who read a story or essay that they judge to be artistic change their personality scores significantly, more than did those who judge what they read to be less artistic.
Thank you, Paco. Well read. This word here is, the emphasis comes at the first syllable, essays.
Essays.
Yeah, rather than essays, okay? So it's essays.
Essays.
Yeah. Right. Well done. Okay, so let's talk about vocab, and then we're going to talk about what we found out in this experiment. Any questions? Everyone okay? Everyone clear?
Yes, we altered.
We altered.
Altered,
Whereabouts
yeah.
is it? I'm trying to find it here. Ahmed?
In the first paragraph,
First paragraph.
which my colleague read.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We altered. What does alter mean?
Change, modify.
Thank you. Changed. The same as changed. Any questions? Any other questions? Sorry.
So they changed the essays a bit in like what? Like
So they chose a series of different essays on different topics, but to make the experiment fair, they changed or altered the essays a little bit so that they were the same length, the same sort of level of ease when reading, and the same level of interest to readers, supposedly. So they're trying to make it just a bit fairer, that's all, Ken.
maybe equal interesting and equal easy to read.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I want only to know altered, the same word of alternative, the same word.
An alternative is a different choice, another choice. Okay.
But the same racine and the same came from the same word.
Good question. I'm not too sure about that, Ahmed. I know that the alter means change. I guess yes, because it has a similar idea about it, but it's not quite the same.
Okay.
Okay, so what did they basically find out from this experiment? What is the key thing? Can you tell us, Carlos?
They were expecting that the people will change a little bit their personality after reading these essays, but they found that actually it wasn't like the previous experiment. In this case, they didn't find that.
What did they find?
That if it was fiction or non-fiction, it didn't matter. So what mattered was the degree of perseverance. Yeah, what mattered it was the words, the type of writing.
Yeah.
If it affects on all the people.
Okay, so this is probably the key phrase, the degree of perceived artistry. Can anyone say what that means in some different words? What is the degree of perceived artistry? Yeah, any ideas?
The degree you will be affected, but by what you're reading.
Okay, yes, that's linked to it, Carlos. But the degree of perceived artistry has a very specific meaning. So what does perceived mean? Because I think this is the key word, really. What does perceived mean here?
It's from the verb perceive, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I think
Just so
to
that
perceive. To perceive is to identify.
Yes, it is to identify or perhaps notice something. But it also, yeah. Someone going to say something there? No? Okay.
Noticed.
Yes, noticed. Okay, noticed is not exactly accurate in this particular context, because what it is saying is that something, how much art you perceive to be in the story is not necessarily how much art there actually is in the story. So it's like your opinion about how much art is in the story, and that can change depending on the person, right? Because we all have different taste and different, I don't know, experience. So I guess if you apply this to movies, Carlos, can you think of a movie that you found really artistically brilliant? Like you thought, wow, the plot was amazing, or maybe something about the movie really inspired you because of the art. Can you think of an example of that happening to you?
Because of the art.
Yes.
No, I was going to say. No, because of the art. Amadeus. It was a really nice movie.
Okay, so when we're talking about art here, we're not really talking about art as in painting or writing in particular. I guess what we're talking about is being artistic, being creative, being something along that lines, a little bit more general, Carlos.
Okay.
So, for example, maybe the art of a movie that I found quite astounding. I suppose Lord of the Rings, because I'm from New Zealand. It's a very artistic movie in the way that the entire world is portrayed, in the characters, in the costumes, all of that kind of thing. The art comes through quite strongly. Whereas maybe some other movies have less art. Maybe if they're focused on total action. I don't know if Die Hard, perhaps, you wouldn't say has much art. It's more about, like, you know, storyline and action and all that.
Titanic is a very well done movie.
Okay, that's a great example, Carlos. Exactly. So the art that comes through in Titanic perhaps had a greater effect on the audience. Maybe it made you think, it affected you in some way emotionally more than Die Hard, perhaps. I mean, some people might think Die Hard's very artistic. But do you guys get the idea of what it's talking about here now?
So
Yes.
the novels or the kind of essays, genre is not a matter, but what matter is the ability to receive artistic value or the feeling of art or something like that.
Yeah, exactly right, Ken.
That reinforce the emotional kind of score or something.
Yes, exactly.
You could say, in other words, that if a writer is good, it's going to affect you more. Instead, if it's a bad writer, you're going to be like, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Great example. So it's how well the story comes to you, how well it is portrayed, more than the actual story itself, right? All right, so Tatiana, what do you think about that? Do you think that's true? Can you relate that to your own personal experience?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a little bit difficult to understand what you're talking, because you are talking so quickly and.
All right, no problem, Tatiana. What we've been saying is that when we read something, or perhaps it also applies to watching films, if we perceive or if we think that the book or the film is very artistic, is very creative, is very has a lot of, I don't know, there's another way of putting it, art is a bit of a broad term, but that's really what we're talking about. If we find it artistic or we think it has a lot of art in, then it affects us emotionally more. We feel more moved. We feel more affected by the movie or the book. Do you understand what we're saying?
Yes, I understand. Yes.
So what do you think about that? Do you think that's true from your own life?
I think that as for me, if I saw this picture in the film, yes, it's really affected me because I think that I'm very sensitive person, and of course, when I see some artists who are related to me, it's really affected me so much. And then when I see their behavior of this personality, I will try to make something conclusions, and maybe I will try to change my own life
as a result. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tatiana. That was a really, really lovely comment to finish on. Because, yeah, what you're really saying is that actually this can have quite a deep effect on you. You actually even try to change your own life in some way as a result of reading or experiencing that. Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to have to finish. But thank you for participating. It was a challenging topic, I know, but you did very well. I hope you learned some new words. And whether you like reading or not, perhaps all of these artistic things do affect us in some way. So keep your eyes out. Maybe next time you read, notice. So take care. Lovely to have you in class. I hope to see you all again soon. And have a great evening. See you later.
Okay, thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank